of him, Sarah?
Robert Burns? He's friends with my brother.
I have heard stories. Apparently women throw themselves at him. Is it true?
Oh, yes. Why, I have seen him cast a spell just like a sorcerer. The poor girl becomes smitten. A lamb to the slaughter.
Rekai by thee or Joddy on his ocean. Diva Bagalons to me, I reign in Jeannie's bosom.
Robert Burns was a common man from simple farming stock. As a mere ploughboy, he was lucky enough to receive an education that was to reveal his genius for poetry and songwriting. It was his passport to fame. It is obvious to all that he has sinned. I am mortified by the situation of my poor lass. I want him to take the responsibility of his actions.
Mr. Armour, it is the will of God that couples in love should marry.
You assume that Mr. Burns has my consent to such a marriage. I refuse him such pleasures above his station.
All I want is that Mr. Burns acknowledge his sin in public. Will you submit?
Submit to what? That I think it's a disgrace that Mr. Armour would prefer an illegitimate child than a husband for his daughter? If it is a sin to love her, then I am guilty. And if she loves me, let her marry me.
Try as I may, it's been impossible to get Jean out of my mind. He's sent off to hiding like some disgraced nun.
Any reply from your letters?
Not a word.
As Jean Armour's father, I was unhappy when they finally married. I warned Jean that Robert Burns would never make her a happy husband or give her the things she deserved in life.
Now that's over with, let us toast to health and wealth.
Aye.
To health and wealth.
To think that I was going to leave Scotland when I have such trusted friends and a beautiful wife.
To Jean Armour and a life of honest poverty. Cheers.
We have to get you an income.
Do you have anything in mind?
I have a farm in Dumfriesshire. I want you to work it for me. You can keep all you sow, and if it's not enough, perhaps you could work for Customs and Excise part-time.
Is that a large farmhouse?
Yes, ample for a lad.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And settle my lady in a house, and that would please her father.
Welcome o'er the bonny rose, my bonny dear. As I gae doon by Clouden side, a shepherd lad I there espied, and this said he unto a maid, will ye gang and be my dear?
The farm was a ruinous affair, and Burns knew he must find any means of a livelihood that was available to him.
This is excellent stuff, Burns. Just a few formalities. Sign here. The publishing date will be in a few months. You need to attend the usual promotional events.
Tiresome events. Use my other political poems. But don't put my name to these ones, otherwise my job prospects will be blighted.
What job?
Don't worry, it won't stop the muse. I've both farming and excise as possibilities. Of course, if writing paid more, I wouldn't have to work.
Working all hours as a customs officer, he also had to fit in his publishing arrangements.
The deal's a war, the deal's a war, the deal's a war with excise man. He's danced a war, he's danced a war. He's danced a war with excise man.
Doesn't look like a French spy ship to me.
As one of His Majesty's excise officers, Burns had to police the coast for smugglers and contraband.
The danced a war with excise man. The deal's a war, the deal's a war, the deal's a war with excise man. He's danced a war, he's danced a war. He's danced a war with excise man. The deal's a war, the deal's a war, the deal's a war with excise man. He's danced a war, he's danced a war. He's danced a war with excise man.
Contraband indeed, eh? And what are we going to do with these hefty items?
That's our commission, John.
Ah, gentlemen, the card table again, I see.
Ah, Mrs. Riddle.
Sarah.
Robert Burns.
Mr. Burns.
Mrs. Riddle, pleasure. You're but a lassie.
You may live through the day you say that, Mr. Burns.
Cousin Sarah, how is William?
I have not heard from him since King Louis was arrested. He is most unhappy in France.
Excuse me. Gentlemen.
Here we have 4 fine cannon. Who'll give me £5 for a first bid? Right, who'll give me a guinea? How about 6pence a hundredweight?
A 6pence a hundredweight?
Come on, they're worth at least 4 crowns. If none of you want them, I'll buy them for France and the Republic.
You mean guns for the French Revolution?
Indeed. Do we have another offer? 4 crowns, France and the Republic.
You're a disgrace to the excise.
Robbie.
I was only trying to interest the crowd in this pathetic cargo.
For God's sake, Robbie. Guns for France when you're at war with them.
We should dispatch them to Maxwell this evening.
Not in front of Mitchell.
Surely you can't take this auction too seriously.
What to?
Wine.
Burns dispatched the cannon to France, an action that was to mark him as a supporter of revolution.
Robbie,
Have you met Mr. Thomas Muir?
Thomas Muir. Nice to meet you, sir. You have a friend in Robert Burns.
Robert Burns, the ploughman's poet. You're a legend in your own lifetime. Let's see if you bear the burden well. Drinks on me.
I hear you're an advocate for the People's Parliament, sir.
Revolution in France has succeeded. Now is the time to rise up with our brothers and make free men. Support Mr. Muir's petition for a Parliament of the People. Come on, Robbie. Sign here. Excellent. Now, I have a writing job for you. Johnson's Republican Gazette. What do you say?
I'll do it. You can discuss the terms with Mr. Johnson.
Aye. To the People's Parliament, with Robbie for president.
You are joking, you mean Thomas Jefferson?
Or Mad King George?
What is right and what is wrong? By the law, by the law. What's right and what is wrong? By the law. What is right and what is wrong? A short sword and a line. How we can man a strang. 40 draw, 40...
Muir has been charged with treason.
Treason? That's for gunpowder plots and old Jacobites.
We live in dark times. You'd be safer if you headed home.
Keep me informed.
It's good of my father-in-law to allow you the hermitage. He must be very fond of you.
He's a good friend and a loyal patron. I couldn't survive without his favours.
Tells me you work very hard. Does that leave you any time for pleasure?
Now that I'm a family man, I have no time for folly.
I hope I never become a folly, sir. It's more interesting to be a mere coquette than a gentleman's strumpet.
Such worldly wise wit for a young woman. You are an interesting coquette.
And you rhyme well for an old poet who's barely ventured forth from the farmyard.
Indeed, compared to you, I'm an ancient peasant of no merit.
Perhaps. But I think you can be of some worth. I have a manuscript. And I need a publisher.
Then you must give me your manuscript and I'll see what I can do for you.
I have rather preempted my own question.
Voyages to Madeira and the Caribbean Islands.
I'm aware that my words would have a limited appeal. I have read your words. They are of some value.
Then perhaps if you need my help, you ought to treat me as an equal, rather than a ploughman.
As my equal. You drawing rank with me, poet? My mother was Queen Charlotte's lady-in-waiting.
Equality knows no rank, Maria.
This is Lord Benriddle's retreat. We're privileged to have the use of it.
What's your aim for me?
That remains to be seen. You'll not sleep for thinking of it.
I already think of it.
I know you do.
Please stand for the national anthem.
Look at Burns! Turn him up! Stand for the claim! Stand for the
Glad you made it safely.
They've executed the king.
Monsieur, do you have your export license?
Yes, sir. I have my papers.
Merci.
I'm glad to see you working hard, Burns, rather than hanging around with the common rabble.
What rabble is that, sir?
Wake up, Burns. Times like these, you need to be extra vigilant. Things are very serious. Britain has declared war with France.
Aye, sir.
Who is your friend?
He is a physician. You may require his help at some point.
I will keep him in mind if I feel the need. Good day.
You have the last consignment of Scottish goods before the war blockade with France begins. Merci.
Très bien, monsieur.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Muir's on trial for treason.
In Paris, he'd be a hero.
Keep it down.
France is in the grip of tyranny. Robespierre's movement of freedom, liberty. It's a reign of terror.
Did you receive the cannon safely in France?
No. They didn't arrive.
I knew it was a mistake to send them in the first place.
Can you lie low for a while?
I can stay with my sister, but I can't hide there forever.
Soldiers.
I'm a non-Jacobin.
Weapons were shipped from Scotland by William Maxwell of Kirkconnell.
What do we know of him?
He's a friend of Robert Burns. Burns has abused his position as tax inspector and made a nuisance of himself by sending guns to France. It's a serious matter, Prime Minister. I want a warrant for his arrest.
Arrest Maxwell, but not the songwriter.
The enemy within our shores is more dangerous than the enemy without.
If we start arresting songwriters, every hack in the country will be against us. Take freedom from the Scots and they will have us out of office. We need their votes.
But, sir, I believe you must take immediate action to stamp out the threat of revolution.
To put a fire out, you don't add more fuel. You pour water on the flames. The army may keep order with fear, but I will not have them go to war with our own people.
Mr. Burns!
It was a glorious day.
What an unexpected pleasure.
Ladies?
Have you been hiding?
No, I've been hard at work.
I wonder, have you managed to send my manuscript to a publisher yet?
Yes, unfortunately it was not for him. But he sent it on to Creech, who's a publisher of all sorts of work.
My thanks.
In the meantime, please accept these as a token of my sincerity.
Your sincerity?
Why, are you surprised?
Sincerity is the stuff of absolutes. A quality I would not always assume to associate with your work.
Perceptive of you. Actions are better than words.
Will you then walk with me, Mr. Burns?
Excuse us, ladies. I will rejoin you later.
I don't want to talk about it, Sarah. I'm glad to be home.
I am happy to see you home. We have so much to share.
Even though Father has disowned me.
You have a right to be here now. Since Father's death, the grounds have been neglected. This should be all yours.
Sarah. No one must know I'm here. You swear?
I swear.
I can't help noticing how unkind Walter is to you.
It was an arranged marriage. My father lost his estates in Antigua. My mother decided I should marry a landowner. It was Walter that bought the plantation, so you could call it a convenient transfer of fortune.
Oh, how the rich make themselves unhappy.
I had no choice. Walter gives my father peace of mind. My mother likes the financial security. That's why I put up with his gambling. I do not love him. So I can come to you again?
Yes, my dear. Till the rocks melt with the sun.
And now you are mocking me.
True. But your wisdom makes me as transparent as the wind.
I cannot catch the wind.
If you need me for anything, you must come, Maria.
Coming to the drum, Mitchell? No, thank you. I'm here to give you an official warning. Your actions have reflected badly on the service, and you've been called for an inquiry. Here is your appointment.
Thank you. What exactly do you think I've done?
You are a fool or a rebel. You used excise plunder to send guns to France, and you thought you could get away with it.
War had not broken out with France at that time. And I'm sorry it reflected badly on the excise.
You also refused to honour King George by failing to stand for the national anthem. You nearly incited a Republican riot in that theatre.
The riot was the people's doing, not mine. And as I recall, you were the one that incited the riot with your name calling, not me. And you know what? If it was a crime to remain seated for the national anthem, half this country would be in prison. What's wrong with you?
You are an excise officer and a representative of the Crown, and as such, you should support the King. The board will examine your actions. Good day.
Come in, Robert. How's your good lady in these strange times?
Well, sir, she would like to know about the board inquiry, but the charges are and why they've been brought against me.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Look, Since you made connections with the publisher Johnson and his scurrilous gazette, Mitchell and his cronies have compiled information against you. They have seized some pro-French articles written in your hand.
Well, apart from this one, these have not been signed by me, although they are flattering imitations.
That's for you to prove, my dear boy. But your actions in the theatre the night of the riots have made matters worse. Hey, let me fix this.
I will not be forced into retirement, sir. I am not the one responsible for the bad feeling in this country. I'm simply the voice of the common man. Surely you're more enlightened.
I have faith in your political vision and your impartiality worthy of a poet. And you have my support, of course. But as your patron, take my advice, deny everything, and don't be caught praising anyone in public other than the king.
I shall heed your advice, sir.
Good.
Thank you. How may I repay you?
By not disappointing me.
We have taken it upon ourselves, in the name of the Crown, to investigate your political affiliations. The reason for such a step is simple. The job of an exciseman demands loyalty to the Crown. A servant of the Crown must protect the Crown. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
When you are seen with those who would plot to overthrow the king, you taint the entire service.
Wait a minute, sir. At no point have I plotted to overthrow the king.
Your publisher Johnson is one such conspirator. His associate Thomas Muir shall rot in an Australian prison for his treason. Our excise officers are not at liberty to consort with the likes of him. But please, let me hear your side of the story.
Well, sir, I believe Muir is a lawyer, a man of peace, not revolution. I am a poet, and Johnson is the publisher of my work, and at no point have I given him authority to publish my works in the Gazetteer. Therefore, I think your charges are false.
Your views about the French Revolution are well known. Do you support the overthrow of the king?
No, I cannot justify the murder of anyone, but I do believe in a voice for the common people.
You would have the people rule us? You are a dangerous idealist, an anti-monarchist.
No, sir. I believe a man is a man no matter what his rank or clothes.
If you believe men are equal, then you cannot support monarchy. Answer the question!
Men are equal under the sight of God, are they not? How can a man be equal to a king unless we are all kings?
The book.
By the power of Almighty God, I, Robert Burns, do solemnly pledge my allegiance to His Majesty King George III, King of England, Scotland and Ireland, and the colonies of the Commonwealth, and shall by all my powers defend his laws and his realm against all his enemies.
Walter realised Burns could become a social embarrassment because of his radical ideas, and conspired to ostracise him from aristocratic society for good.
How is your husband, Lady Glenriddle?
He's still rather unwell. The war has affected him badly. What of your brother William, Sarah?
Oh, he still has nightmares about the death of Danton.
Oh dear.
The French Guard was bloody. There were many killings. He is glad to be home.
He was close to the French command.
He has left the Jacobin cause for good, I can vouch for him.
Once a Jacobin, Burns, always a Jacobin.
He is no traitor.
Who are you to judge?
The authorities will deal with anyone who supports revolution.
You would have someone tried before they're proven guilty?
We must be vigilant in these times.
Oh, witch hunt.
The blockade has affected business. We relied upon French imports. Now we will have to step up the local brewing trade to survive.
And I'm sure you'll do fine. Men shall always drink ale. I have a toast.
A toast?
To king and country.
To king,
To king and country.
Don't delay too long, Walter. We shall expect you for charades. Come, ladies.
Good news, John. Glenriddle is dead.
When did this happen?
Shortly before the guests arrived. Lady Glenriddle doesn't even know yet.
So, all this is yours now?
Yes, but it shouldn't affect our prospects. In fact, it should make it all the easier. See you soon. My compliments to the chef, Walter. My pleasure, my pleasure. Now, charades, what shall we perform? Must be something that will shock and please at the same time.
How about a classical story?
And more port, Robert?
No, Walter.
Let's have the rape of the Sabine women. It is important to assign a Roman to take each Sabine woman.
I'll take Elizabeth.
I'll take Miss Sarah. Burns?
I'll take Maria.
Oh, my wife. Careful, Burns, you'll leave me with the maid.
Gertrude is mine.
Then, let's prepare for the attack, shall we?
Yes, come on.
Indeed.
Come
We should be wearing togas.
Must be some torrid piece, like Dante's Inferno. Yes, with some horrid twist.
Oh, you can guess it's a classical piece.
Bring some more light. He has made a nuisance of himself and a fool of my wife. Get him out of here. Stay away from my wife.
What have you done? Why didn't you come in together? How could you behave like this to Robert in our home?
This was all your friend Robert's idea. We had no wish to practice it for fear of the obvious distress that it would cause.
You must not speak to him again. Oh! There's clearly been a misunderstanding here.
That man is a rake. He tore your dress like a savage.
It wasn't like that. Robert isn't a fool. It was a parody. I took it as such.
Kindly cover yourself up. I have no wish to see you dressed like this in front of our guests.
Let me finish.
From Lady Glenriddle. Lord Glenriddle is dead and I've been banned from the house by Maria. This is Walter's doing.
Robbie, the story's all round town that the Riddles are liars.
Who calls a pert, affected, vain coquette, a wit in folly, a fool in wit, who says that fool alone is not thy due, and quotes thy treacheries to prove it true.
Robbie! Good news. The inquiry's come down on your side. You still have a job. But you'll now work for the Port Authority.
The Port Authority? But the port is all but dead with the war blockade.
And the wars are just trade everywhere.
On top of that, the farm is barren. We won't make enough to live on.
Well, you still have a job.
I knew the board would have some way of showing its displeasure.
Look, live with it. You may have to cut back your lifestyle. But we've all been affected by this war. Why don't you move back into town? Rent a townhouse. It means you could be closer to your family.
It's a wonderful idea. The children would love it.
And so Burns was forced by circumstances to move to Dumfries town and leave behind farming for good.
This is it.
The house is nice.
From my arm.
Things will have to change now that Father is gone. He didn't leave us a great fortune behind, and with my debts and the costs of running the estate, we will be quickly ruined.
Your gambling debts.
Regardless of their origin, your circumstances will certainly change.
This is your father's funeral. It is neither the time nor the place for this discussion.
How you've changed, Maria. Your Republican ideals would quickly vanish if there were a revolt. Have you no more goods to trade?
The war with France has made things difficult for me. Smugglers no longer run the coast due to the blockades.
Come on, John. There must be something you can do for me.
I can no longer continue jeopardizing my commission for you. There has to be more in it for me.
But I cannot step up the local brewing trade without more income. Then we can share the profits.
Fine.
Take a whiskey, John. You were right, Jean. Sending the guns to France was a rash thing to do. Whatever anybody says about me, Jean, stand by me.
I'll stand by you, whatever you do, Robbie.
Of all the books to have, it's banned.
It's the captain of the guard. Quite hide it.
Captain,
I wondered if you could assist me with our inquiries.
come in, Captain.
Mrs. Burns?
Lewis, Dumfries Excise Office.
Could you identify any of the protesters you saw earlier?
It was difficult to hear anything but taunts, Captain.
Would you like a drink of fine Galloway whisky, Captain?
Aye, I would. Thank you.
You're a whiskey captain.
What did you do before you joined the army, Captain?
Before I took my commission, I worked for the Maxwells.
Oh, so, you would know Sarah?
Aye, that's right, sir. I worked for the 6th Earl. I don't know Sarah as much as I'd like.
Well, that can be arranged, can't it, Jean?
Aye.
I'm happy to have some hospitality. Times like these can be difficult in an army uniform.
Aye.
Come again, Captain.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Captain.
Sir, Mrs. Burns? Robbie?
Captain.
Get rid of it.
What are you having now, Robbie? The local Dumfries ale, or a cheap brew from Ruthwell?
Why is Ruthwell ale cheaper?
Spoken like a true taxman. They don't apply the tuppenny tax in Ruthwell.
Why is that?
Excise haven't applied the duty. That makes it difficult for the brewers here to compete with Riddle's Ruthwell ale. Our customers only buy the cheapest beer.
I didn't know Walter Riddle was interested in the brewing trade.
He runs it, doesn't he, Annie?
Everyone's at it, John. The gentry, the excise, everyone wants a piece of me.
Including Annie Park. Careful lest she eats you.
That's newly sprung into.
Dear Jamie, Annie. Do you have the delivery notes for the Rothwell ale?
It's about time.
Mitchell's been up to some dodge.
Aye. Thank you, Jamie.
Brother Burns, doors! I'm happy to see you. What can I do for you?
That's a drink, Rob, sir, but not my own. Have some receipts. Ale certificates. Do you notice anything unusual about them?
There are no tax stamps on them.
Indeed. It seems Ruthwell Ale is exempt from tax. Someone is making money from every pint sold.
Supervisor Mitchell. With a letter from me to his superiors. Settle the matter.
Indeed it would, sir.
That man's reckoning is long overdue. You will deal with the matter, John.
I'll enjoy the prospect.
It is a clerical error. I haven't stolen any money.
There's no doubt about it. You've been skimming money off ale taxes. I will commence an investigation into all your dealings. In the meantime, Burns will take over the tuppenny tax collection.
So Burns is behind all this?
Officer Burns is an honest, hard-working man, which is more than I can say for you. If I had my way, I would dismiss you instantly. But it seems you have friends in high places.
What's wrong, Annie?
I'm with child.
A wedding, is it then?
No. He's married. I haven't been with a man since your visit. I can't bring up a child here. I know somebody that can get rid of the unborn.
No, don't, Annie. I'll see that the child is provided for somehow.
Annie says Robbie is the father. I've known you to be a decent woman, but it seems to me that you've been wronged as much as Annie.
You're not wrong there. And what do you expect me to do about it?
Well, he can't marry Annie, can he? Even if he wasn't wed to you, if he was eyeing something else other than a barmaid. Annie can't stop working. I need Annie to work. We're up in the debtors' court. The ale business is poor because of the war. This is a bad thing to happen at this time.
Is there a good time?
The future's black for us. Your husband owes my sister something.
What do you take me for, an idiot?
Will you think about it, Jean?
Robbie should have had 2 wives.
How would you like your head in there? Look, I don't have time for this. I would rather just kill you now.
At least Robespierre knows how to kill a man quickly.
Yes, but I usually kill men slow.
Give me the names of those you're working with.
Are you mad? I'm not working with anybody.
If you cooperate, I will release you. Your sister and your aunt will go free. If you resist me, I will make sure they suffer. The Maxwell lands will become Crown property, do you understand? I hear his sister is a beauty, Sutton. Will you help me?
What exactly do you want from me?
Let's talk in better surroundings. Untie him.
I can explain myself. As if your own children aren't enough to worry about.
Calm down, Jean. Let's just
Why
try and
did
talk
I
about this.
bother defending you? You don't love me. You never have.
That's not true, Jean. You know I love you. It was a mistake. I don't want to marry her. I love you.
You don't know the difference between love and infatuation.
That's not true, Jean.
You make eyes at all your fancy ladies and what about Annie Park? How could you ruin her like this?
I'm sorry, Jean. I truly am.
And you know I have trouble reading. And yet you mock me by leaving your love letters everywhere. You put your poetry and your precious reputation above everything. How can words and your women be more important than your children? Answer me. You're not welcome here. My father was right about you.
You recovered? Feeling refreshed?
Yes, thank you.
There are others under suspicion. The poet, Wordsworth, and his Frenchwoman. You have a number of friends in France also. I want their names.
Don't you understand my interests are cultural, not political? My friends are not traitors.
Cultural enough to be a member of the French National Guard?
Well, yes, but that was before things turned bloody. Before the murder of Danton.
Look, let's come to an understanding. Your indictment for treason can be changed. Your crime may be viewed as little more than exporting goods without a license. Punishable with a fine, not with death. But only if you help.
How can I do that?
We have a network of spies, many in France and some here. Scotland is of great concern to us, William. We don't want the revolution to enter from within.
What do you want from me exactly, Mr. Burke?
Go back to Scotland. Keep your eye on these radicals. Let me know what they're doing. I want lists of their meetings, the finest details.
I will not betray my friends.
Look, you don't have a choice. I want information about everybody, including Robert Burns.
Burns is no revolutionary. He sits and writes poems all day.
He sings songs about equality of men and women. He wants rights for all. He conspires with others to give the vote to the common man.
He is a harmless poet with ill health. He is no revolutionary.
I want you to weaken him. Here, take this. Its effects are slow, but not lethal. King George recovered from its effects, I'm told. In return for your service, I can offer immunity from prosecution and the right for your sister to keep the family house and estate.
You make it seem so clear and simple.
All I ask of you is to help your country.
This is what you're owed. It's unusual for me to recommend another publisher, but my business is ruined. Thompson's looking for a collector of songs.
Aye, it can be difficult. But I can increase my work with his company. Thanks for everything. you, Jean?
You look sick with a fever again.
I'm fine. Soldiers been troubling you at all?
No.
Sold some songs to Johnson. I was thinking perhaps you could help with the tunes for Thompson's songbook. Jean, about the babe.
I will rear the bairn as my own. Please, wait. This has to be the end of your philandering.
There was a lass, and she was fair, at Kirkenmarket to be seen, when all our fairest maids were met. The fairest maid was bonny Jean.
Burns thought Maria had deliberately humiliated him during the charades. He wrote several public letters against her. The aristocracy closed ranks against him.
Good day, ladies.
Your presence spoils it.
Ladies are cold today.
Aye, the weather blew them in.
Aye, a gale force wind howling. We'll let them freeze. George Washington's a better man than Pitt.
A toast to the lassies, gentlemen.
To the lassies.
Charlie is my darling, my darling, my darling. Charlie is my darling, the young Chevalier.
Boys, boys! Don't embarrass me with your Scottish manners. Come, now let me introduce you to my nephew. He's with the Border Guards.
I choose not to spend my time with epauletted puppies.
You will hold your tongue, or I shall have you thrown out. Fame is quite gone to your head.
Good day, ladies.
They are a bunch of gossiping goats.
Well, it's the company you keep. And the House of Commons at Edinburgh mentioned that Maxwell has been sending weapons to France. It's now a national issue, and Maxwell has been arrested.
I know what's going on, Lures. I will petition Pitt for Will's release.
Are you mad? You've sent weapons to France. You're as bad as he is. Jean, tell him.
John is right, Rob. You'll end up being transported. Listen to him. Don't give your opinions out so freely.
You're just echoing other people's opinions. I will petition Pitt, and that will be the end of the matter.
William. Oh, we were worried about you. Thank God you're safe.
I'm well enough. But the better for seeing you.
Aunt Helen is not well.
Once they've gone, I'm sure Aunt Helen will recover.
We will leave you now. Good day, Sarah.
What will you do now you're home?
I think I'll try to practice as a doctor. I'm no longer free to speak my mind in this country. It's time I settled down. Made something of myself.
It's about your statement you made against the Prime Minister. Someone has made an official complaint.
What? George Washington's a better man than Pitt?
Your comments are seditious. This is your last warning.
And Britons never ever shall be slaves? Will it be prison then, Captain?
You have influence with the common man. You must realise that they will listen to you. And so they should.
Don't you think that George Washington's a better man than Pitt, Dodds?
I respect George Washington as an army general. But I am wise enough to realise that Mr. Washington was an opponent of our country not so long ago.
Sitting on the fence is such an uncomfortable profession.
If I was a poet like you, I might find it difficult in times like these.
Then you won't be offended by the things I say.
Personally, no. But as an officer of the Crown, it is my duty to inform you to keep your opinions private. I don't understand you. You write so much about women. I wish I could express myself as well as you.
You are fond of Sarah.
Aye. But how do I tell her without sounding a fool?
Invite her to the Miller's house. Jean's a perfect matchmaker.
Thank you.
He is rather dashing, isn't he?
I'm so pleased for you, Sarah.
I think he's wonderful. Good. All that problem with my brother, but he was only doing his job. Oh, I think we'd make rather a handsome couple.
I certainly hope so.
Gertrude, Sarah, Mr. Burns.
Sarah?
Mr. Burns?
So, have you forgiven me?
The Sabine thing? I suppose so. It was a nasty trick that they played on you. Mrs. Riddle encouraged you, and my fiancé, our Bigland, well, he disappointed me greatly, and I've called off the engagement.
Excuse me.
Will!
Stegg and I petitioned Pitt himself about your release.
4 months in the cells to make me mend my ways, Robbie. I've had it with politics. I want to settle down in life.
May I have the pleasure of escorting you?
I am delighted. I was hoping you would call on me. You are welcome any time.
Burns! James Perry, editor of the Morning Chronicle, wishes to pay you £1 a week for poems and comments. What?
Well, that's a very attractive offer. I'm flattered. Thank you.
Good.
I will let you know.
Lady Miller will sing for us. What? Yes, my dear.
Oh, my love is like the red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melody that sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, sae deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry.
Don't lie, Will. What pressures have they brought to bear on you?
Not a thing. I gave them a few French names. They were satisfied.
Do you think I should take this job with the London Chronicle?
For a guinea a week? Yes. It's more than twice what you earn as an excise man.
There's no pension in it. If I leave the excise, you won't be provided for when I'm gone.
Guinea a week for a poem's very good, Robbie.
That's true. But I don't like this current climate.
Don't take it. I will learn spinning to keep us in our old age.
I've come to a decision about the Chronicle job. I've written to the editor, refusing it.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
You can laugh. I sent him Scots way to soften the blow. Besides, it costs us too much money to move down there. I'd rather be with you and the children.
Thank you. You know I couldn't do without you.
You can thank me when you see the spinning wheel I bought you.
Oh, thank you.
Damn him! Damn the poet!
Fair will to our Scottish fame, fair will our ancient glory. Fair will even to the Scottish name, say famed in martial story. New Sargrans are the Solway sand, and Tweed runs to the ocean, to mark what England's province stands. Sic a parcel o' rogues in a nation.
Maria, my dear. Goodness gracious, what brings you down from the dark recesses of Scotland?
Sir Charles, I need you to use your parliamentary influence to intervene for a gypsy.
Why such concern for a gypsy? Come, let us talk here.
Mr. O'Neill killed to save his daughter from being raped by a king's officer. How embarrassing would it be for the army if I were to make this matter public?
Well, it's difficult at the moment to intercede on behalf of the Catholic lobby, but, well, let me see what I can do. You look pale, Maria. How are you?
I am somewhat overwrought. My husband prefers the attractions of the Caribbean and the slave economy to our life here.
Slavery will soon be a thing of the past. Your husband will have to find a different form of income. But with your guidance, I'm sure you'll be able to help him.
Indeed, I hope so. I had wanted to petition you on one other matter, Sir Charles. The poet Robert Burns.
For such a lady, I will do anything.
Mr. Burke has exerted undue pressure upon both William Maxwell and Robert Burns to renounce their support of France. Mr. Burns, in particular, has written on the slave trade, as I'm sure you're aware. Perhaps you could have a word with Mr. Pitt about Burke's heavy-handedness in this matter.
Robert Burns is a worthwhile cause. Let me make some inquiries on his behalf. And of course, you're Gypsy.
Of course.
We could do with a few more ladies like yourself in the anti-slavery lobby. Burns, tell me, why such personal interest?
Perhaps I'm wise enough to believe that some people are worth saving.
With such high sentiments, my dear, be sure to include your husband in your estimations.
Yes.
Good news, brothers! O'Neill has been acquitted!
Is there for honest poverty that hangs its head and all that? The coward slave, we pass him by. We dare be poor for all that. For all that and all that. Our toils obscure and all that. The rank is but the guinea stamp. The man's the good for all that. Jean, you look beautiful in that dress. It's about time Rabbie paid attention to you.
John, I've been thinking about this call for volunteers to form a local militia. As we can see from the O'Neill incident, there is a need for a local force of men to defend the innocent from the army as well as the French. How would you like to help me set up such a force in Dumfries?
Well, I see a need for it. The excise has been in difficulties ever since the blockade. It may take attention away from both of us radicals. We both need to prove our patriotism to the authorities.
Who'll not sing God Save the King shall hang high from the steeple. But while we sing God Save the King, we'll ne'er forget the people.
Rabbie?
The port division has another cargo due. I want you to check it first thing.
I've just come back from the Port Nicole blast. That's a 2.5-hour ride. Why didn't you just let me know and I could have waited for the boat?
I was only informed an hour ago.
This is personal.
Consumption.
Must be something you can do to help her.
It's in God's hands.
Can I cease to care? Can I cease to languish? While my darling fair
Poor lass.
is on
Nearly clinging to life these last few months.
Heavy comes the morrow, while my soul's delight is on her bed is sorrow. Long, long the night, long, long the night.
Search time, Lord, we could only find Janet.
Good enough. The drovers require paperwork for their beef exports.
You will do the paperwork.
The papers can be dated tomorrow. We've already worked 14 hours today.
If you don't work the hours, I'll reduce your wages.
I've had it with your wild chases.
Rabbie! It's not worth it. I will say you struck Rabbie first.
Your cards are marked, Lewis.
We have an understanding. On a day like this, we've earned the right to go home.
The illness took all by surprise. Burns in his youth had contracted rheumatic fever, and the hard work imposed upon him by Mitchell had brought about a relapse.
He owes you his life, Will. Shh. Oh, shh.
God is punishing me.
Rob, don't overexert yourself.
I'll send Betsy for the children.
Robbie, take this.
What is that?
It's mercury. The King's physician swears by it.
Mad King George's potions. Stop your fussing, you're like a nanny with your potions.
These potions will help to ease your pain. Jean, could you bring some soup?
Why didn't you just let me be?
Because I'm your friend.
I'm curious about this sudden political fervour.
There's a storm brewing in this country. We could all end up with our heads on spikes.
Ah, you're being alarmist. This country is 1,000,000 miles from revolution.
And what precisely would you know about it?
I have an opinion as valid as your own. Mine is based in reality rather than panic.
Madam, do you mock me?
No, sir, you mock yourself.
And you, my dear, dear wife, continue to humiliate this family with your dalliances. Listen carefully, my sweet. The French war has ruined us, leaving me little choice but to return to the Caribbean, either with or without you.
You will still take Monique. I will not tolerate it.
Mitchell. I charge you with trading with France at a time of war and tax fraud. Take him away. The excise has agreed you can work part-time until you're well. But they reduced your pay.
Well, at least that'll feed the children.
Let's get some light in here.
I'm here to see your father. I see Robert, Mrs. Burns? I've heard he's unwell. I have an invitation to the King's Ball for both of you.
Do not be offended when I tell you he may not be able to go.
Robert.
Maria?
I'm sorry to see you in such a state. Perhaps you should have taken up writing for the Chronicle.
Without the excise, I would be at the mercy of your friends and patrons.
I should have come sooner. I'd hoped you would come to the King's Ball.
Even if I was well enough, I'm not interested in being around your gossiping friends.
Goodbye, Robert.
I fear for his life.
I had no idea you were so... Do you have enough help with the children? Perhaps I could take them for a few hours.
Thank you. I hope that we can remain friends.
Why?
Because by keeping you close to me, I keep him close.
And you keep his love. I truly believe he loves you more than any other.
You are different. None of the others have understood that. Thank you.
Goodbye.
I know we have not known each other long, but I feel the time is right to ask for your hand in marriage. I hope you agree.
I am happy to accept your proposal, sir. Fear not.
Oh, once I loved a bonny lass, and I love her still. And whilst that virtue warms my breast, I love my handsome Nell. As bonny lasses I hae seen, and money full as braw, but for a modest, graceful mien, the like I never.
How's the patient?
He's refusing your medicine.
I think he'll benefit from the waters on the Solway coast. There's a spa there.
If you think it'll help, but I'm due. I can't go with him.
Well, perhaps he can take the waters on his own. There is an inn at the well who take in the sick.
But he must return for the birth.
Yes, of course. I'll send a carriage for him. Pack his things.
Mitchell's arrest forces us to leave for Antigua, and I have neither the means nor the desire to care for you.
Damn that Robert Burns.
He has made fools of you both.
Friends like you, Maxwell, who needs enemies?
Sad was the parting, thou makes me remember. Parting when Nancy there to meet me.
Sir. Miss Maria has instructed me to take you to her chapel by carriage.
Help me get dressed. Thank you, Jock.
Fond lovers parting is sweet, painful pleasure.
Wonderful to see you in my dotage. Do you have any commands for the next world, ma'am?
As I have been ill of late myself, it is doubtful which of us shall arrive sooner. Robert, what happened that night was inexcusable. We were both deceived.
I'm sorry I wrote those letters against you.
They were the cause of no open wounds. You are aware that Walter has returned to the Caribbean?
Yes. I could not ignore his schemes, I'm sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. I'm not. And your health?
Terrible. Will seems intent on killing me with these cures. The water spa has made me worse.
Dr. Maxwell is unqualified. Have you not consulted another physician?
Consulting another physician would just make my matters worse. I've debts piling up around us.
Debts?
The haberdasher has taken me to court for £19.
£19. I can settle that for you. If you'll concentrate on your recovery.
So you're resigned to continuing our friendship?
Have I not made that plain?
Jane has another baby on the way. I will never leave her, I promised her. The aristocracy keep your kind and my kind apart. Do you think they would ever allow you to marry a common man, a man with my convictions?
I care nothing for social standing, titles, property. I would give it up in a minute for you.
Maria, if I only loved one woman, I would never have written one single line of poetry. I love you like I love her, like I love the others. It's death that cheats us.
It is your duties as a husband that are killing you.
So your book is published. Well done. I meant to give you this miniature.
former likeness of myself.
Thank you. I shall treasure it. The chairs.
A fond kiss, then we sever. A farewell, alas, forever. Deep in heart-wrung tears, I'll pledge thee. Warring sighs and groans, I'll wage thee.
I must go.
I wish I could come with you. I cannot allow Jean to see me in the carriage.
Listen, I want you to take care of some of my manuscripts and letters. No. I'm afraid of what people might say about me. There is much to misconstrue.
The time comes. I shall.
Oh my God, what has happened to you? I thought you'd be better.
John, give me some paper. You sit yourself down.
Will's cure is worse than the disease. Oh!
I need to find money for Jean. I'd like you, Maxwell, to be trustee for the family.
Yeah. I'll try my best. And don't worry about Jean. I'll make sure she's looked after.
I was thinking that if we have a boy, we'll call him Maxwell. Would you like that?
Of course. I will make binding letters for all your needs. Don't worry about it. I'll see to it all. Even if I have to raise a subscription myself. Listen. I've got something to tell you. When they took me away, I was tortured and blackmailed. They wanted information about local Republicans. I gave in to their wishes. Robbie, you must stop taking the medicine. Please forgive me.
Where are you?
Please forgive me.
The excise has granted your pension. Jean will receive the Crown's deposit. You need to sign here.
rest easy now. That I know that Jean is fine.
Oh, my love is like the red, red rose.
Don't be letting those falling tears fire over my funeral, John. They can be an awkward score.
Aye.
You're right.
Is like the melody that sweetly played in you. And fear thee will my only love, and fear thee will a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles. Oh, my love is like the red, red rose that's newly sprung in June.
I hear wait for mine, I'll partake with nobody, I'll take Google free name, I'll be Google free nobody. I hear penny to spend, there's a thanks to nobody, I hear nothing to lend, and I'll borrow free nobody, I'll be nobody's lord. I am slave to nobody, I get bread sword, I'll take guns free nobody, I'll be merry and free, I'll be sad for nobody, nobody cares for me, and I care for nobody.
Louis, what reck I by thee, or Geordie on his ocean? Diva baggerlands to me, I reign in Jeannie's bosom.